Verse 54 of Surah Al-Furqan speaks to us of one of the great signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in Surah Al-Furqan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is counting these different blessings, and then He comes to this one. وَهُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ مِنَ الْمَاءِ بَشَرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created from water the human being. فَجَعَلَهُ نَسَبًا وَالسِّهْرًا. And He made this human being into those people who are related to you as in-laws, and also those people who are related to you through blood. Because at the end of the day, people who are related to you, that you are acquainted with, are going to fall under one of these two categories. What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pointing out in particular here? He's saying this human being that you have, either as a relative or in-laws, every one of them comes with their own set of emotions, feelings, thoughts, physical appearance. It's a whole complex being, right? In its individual way. Right? You have each one of these relatives are different from the other one. They're different from your in-laws, so on and so forth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pinpointing the idea that this human being, with all of its complexity, we created him from water. And this is truly something, unbelievable to think about. That the human being that you see in the mirror, when you look in the mirror, or a human being that you see in your own house, you might pass by your wife or husband or child or sibling or whatever the case might be. Think about this, because this is what the Quran is talking about. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created that complex human being from water. Where did this happen? How did this happen? Where did all of this complexity come from? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says we are the ones who brought this complexity to the picture. Otherwise, you all came from basic elements. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says from dirt. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says from water, because both of these, of course, were part of the creation of the human being. But the reality is, these are basic elements. How did they turn into this complex human being who has very deep thoughts? He creates things like artificial intelligence, so on and so forth. This is all the magic of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hence He reminds us in the verses of the Quran, you with all of your complexities came from some basic water, from basic dirt. And hence anytime you and I have doubts about God's creation, whether there is actually a God out there and so on and so forth, all you have to do is look in the mirror and ask yourself, who did this? Who created me with all of these complexities and thoughts? The very fact that you ask this question of who created me and is there a God out there, the fact that you ask that question is proof that there is a God out there, because who gave you this intelligence to even ask this question? Who brought you from dirt and water to this level of complexity where you can even sit down and think about these philosophical questions? So the very moment you ask that question, there is proof in that question itself.